going to talk about some NBA. Feels really good to talk about it again. It's fucking short-lived. We just talked about it a couple weeks ago, but the season is literally right around the corner. That's crazy to think about. But because it is around the corner, we're starting to see a lot of trades and shit pop off. There's been a lot of rumors brewing, and over the past couple of days, we've seen some trades. Excuse me. One of the biggest ones happened yesterday. I want to talk about is that man CP3, Chris Paul to the Phoenix Suns. One of the biggest questions we're going to ask from that is Phoenix a playoff contender now? And we saw them go 8-0 there in the bubble, look phenomenal. Devin Booker is on his way to being a superstar in this league. Dude, just certified bucket. And so I look at Chris Paul to the Suns. Are they a playoff team? I got to say, yeah, because I think the Suns, I think Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton are better than anything OKC had to offer. Maybe not Ayton at this point. You could say Gallo or something. And Chris Paul took that team to a fucking 4 or 5 seed. Like I said, we talked a while ago about how at this point, I know for a fact Chris Paul probably just wants to win a championship. He has everything but a championship. And now he's kind of getting viewed at and getting bounced around these teams as a guy that's going to come help teach and show young guys how to win a football game or basketball games. But I like Chris Paul to the Suns. I mean, I've loved Devin Booker ever since he entered the league. I like DeAndre Ayton. Sucks they had to give up Kelly Oubre. I think he was doing really good, but I think they like Mikal Bridges. I like Mikal Bridges more than Oubre. Cam Johnson. They got some players, dude. Chris Paul can come in and show those guys how to win some basketball games. But I don't know if it's another 4 or 5 seed. Definitely 8-7 seed, dude. And that's a win for Phoenix, in my opinion. Haven't been to the playoffs in 10 years. I think that's a win in either way. You got Booker's locked up long term, so he's going to be there. So he needs to be there and win. You want to prove to him, show him that, hey, we're going to do what we can to help you win games, because hopefully you don't leave, this and that. So I think this morning, dude, they are 100% a playoff team. Western Conference final team, probably not finals team. I don't think so at all. But I think anything inside the playoff bracket is a win for them. And they could potentially have him for 2 years. Maybe they just rent him this year, trade him again next season. He's still got 2 years left. I don't know what they do there. I like the Phoenix Suns this morning. Twiggy, what do you think?
I think this is a winning trade for both teams. I think for the Suns especially, having Chris Paul on that team, it's going to take a lot of the ball handling away from Devin Booker, just allow him to get out there and shoot at free
Devin
range.
Booker is so good off the ball too, dude. I'm telling you, he's probably one of him and Klay Thompson are probably the 2 best 2 guards to play off the ball. That boy can just shoot the damn thing.
And then for the Thunder side, I think they got a couple good pieces out of this as well. Mm-hmm. I don't think Rubio's going to be the best starting point guard in the league, bad. But Kelly Oubre is going to provide some solid scoring for you as well. And this is a crazy fact about the Thunder. Between now and 2026,
how many?
16 first-round picks.
What was it?
Oh, my God.
16.
Yeah, but from now until when?
2026.
That's insane. Sam Presti just making shit work. And I've seen some shit too where people talking about, oh, well, he let Harden walk, he let Durant walk, this and that. But you got to think, dude, he's been able to turn Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook, Paul George into all those picks, and they've been in the playoffs every year. Last year would have been the year to not make the playoffs, but they did. Chris Paul, fucking Mr. Lou Gaines Dort in the building, bro, body locking up people up. So, yeah, Sam Presti, dude, shout out. Just fucking cutting deals in that building, dude. Just getting first-round draft picks. And then you got to sit and think they have all that capital. I've said before, it's really probably hard to convince people to want to go to Oklahoma City, want to buy, to live there, essentially. That's what you're going to be doing if you sign a contract there. But you have all them draft picks, dude. They could make a real fucking move. I think they obviously use a couple to maybe see if they can find a player. But you can do so many package deals. My only thing is I've been seeing a lot of reports of what they're going to do with Steven Adams. He's definitely up for trades. I'm not sure where he goes at this point. Steven Adams is a really nice, solid player. He's pretty one-dimensional, which, I guess isn't the worst thing, but it's really only, he's just in kind of that DeAndre Jordan, just a real kind of standard old classic big. Can't really do much besides, kind of pick and roll. He doesn't really space the floor at all. So I don't know how many teams that's enticing to anymore, but he's a really solid player. But he's also played with like Hall of Fame point guards his whole career. So I don't know. I'd like to see him in another environment. Not sure where he goes. That'd just be more draft capital for them. But Suns in the playoffs is a bucket, dude. I'm actually really excited to see that. I think 4 or 5 years down the line, Devin Booker is going to be in some MVP conversations. He could fuck around and score 35 a night, I think, if he wants to. But I like that trade, man. That was awesome to see Chris Paul on the move. I like me some CP3. Shout out State Farm. Next trade we want to talk about. Did you have anything on that, Mike? Nope. Next trade we want to talk about here is some Drew Bledsoe and Bogdan Bogdanovic to the Milwaukee Bucks. All right, so here's my thing on this. I fuck with Drew Bledsoe a lot.
Eric Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe, Patriots.
No. Yeah. Drew Holiday, Eric Bledsoe, Drew Holiday, and Bogdan Bogdanovic. What was I saying? Drew Bledsoe? That's what I have written down. Drew Holiday and Bogdan Bogdanovic to the Bucks for Eric Bledsoe, or just Drew Holiday for Eric Bledsoe. Here's my thing. I like it. I don't love it. I think, all right, when I look at Drew Holiday and Eric Bledsoe, Drew Holiday is obviously a better player. I don't really know by how much, though. Drew Holiday, I'm fucking that up, dude, hardcore. Drew Holiday obviously has an all-star season. That was like 6-7 years ago. He's obviously a very, very good defensive player. Very, very good defensive player, actually. All defense. So I think the Bucks definitely got better. I'm just not sure how much. I don't know if Drew Holiday was worth 5 years of first-round draft picks whatsoever. And two, they had to give up DiVincenzo for Bogdanovic, which I don't know if I like that all the way either. I thought Dante was a very solid little player. Obviously Bogdanovic is super underrated. A lot of people don't know who he is, obviously playing out there in Sacramento. But that dude's a scorer, man. He can play make. I think that's going to be the move. You got to have between Bogdanovic, Drew Holiday, and obviously Giannis. The biggest thing is either when Giannis isn't on the court or it's just not working for him, you got to have someone else on this team that's going to be able to make plays. So, I mean, we're looking at a starting lineup of Drew Holiday, Bogdanovic, Middleton, Giannis, Brook Lopez. I mean, I think the Nets, pound for pound on paper, are still a better team, but that's a pretty solid fucking starting five. We'll see what their bench looks like, but I don't know. What'd you think of this move, Twiggy?
Yeah, I think all the stars are aligning. I think Giannis, with all these moves being made, I think Giannis signed Supermax to stay in Milwaukee. I think they have enough pieces around him now to entice him to stay there. I'd be hard-pressed to find a better starting five than this Bucks team at this point. It's going to provide so much spacing for Giannis just to do whatever he wants on this team. It's going to be a super fun team to watch.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing, though. You've literally had the best record in the NBA the past 2 years. How much better are you going to be? He low-key just kind of fumbled the bag in the playoffs this year. Like I said, I think they definitely upgraded. They are a better team today than they were yesterday. I just don't know by how that much. I think a lot of that's going to come to – Giannis needs to learn how to shoot a fucking basketball, and I think a lot of things would change. It'd easily be the best team in the league. I think he'd be the best player in the league, too, if he could drain a couple threes a game. That's all he would need to do is like 2. If you could just hit 2 off 4 attempts, 5 attempts, he'd be all right. But yeah, I like the Bucks coming out the East. Better than the Nets, though.
I think I'm the starting five for sure. I think the Nets might make some moves here at the deadline to get Harden. That might change things up.
Which is what I want to talk about real quick. Harden potentially going to the Nets. And we were talking about this a little bit earlier. So Harden has 3 years left on his deal. He obviously declined the 2-year extension that would give him another 5 years, but he still has 3 years left on his deal. Houston Rockets do not have to trade James Harden. They just don't have to. If he says he wants out, they could just decide, well, we're not going to. So they have all the leverage. What I'm saying, here's my argument for the Harden to the Nets is bringing it back to Drew Holiday. They give up 5 first-round draft picks for Drew Holiday, 3 first rounds and then 2 swaps. So Drew Holiday's a nice player, but if you want to come get James Harden, I need 8-9 years worth of draft picks. And I'm being dead serious. I need the King's fucking ransom. If I'm trading Harden, I need Karis LeVert, I need Dinwiddie, I need Jared Allen. I need at minimum 6 first-round draft picks. And here's my thing. I'm looking at that. Does Karis LeVert Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen. That would be a middle of the road team out there in the West as the Rockets. They'd have a shit ton of capital that maybe they could trade off those pieces. You're pretty much just looking for the draft picks. I just don't know. Harden to the Nets, dude. I've heard reports that Kevin Durant really wants it. He's the one that kind of pushed for this. Kyrie is saying that he does not want this, which I don't blame him. One of the big reasons I could see maybe this does happen, D'Antoni now being the assistant coach under Steve Nash, which low-key, I think Steve Nash as the head coach for that team is low-key just kind of iffy, dude. I'm not a fan of that at all. I think there are better candidates out there. But now D'Antoni being the assistant, and it's like, who the fuck handles the ball on that offense? It'd have to be Harden. I think Harden would have to be a better playmaker. I think Harden's a better passer than Kyrie. Obviously, Kyrie being a point guard, but Kyrie's a scorer, man, and he's a very good one at that. But I don't know. I just couldn't imagine going to Kyrie Irving and saying we're gonna let James handle the ball. I'm not a fan of that move at all, because then you'd just be giving up your whole bench. I get it. On paper, that's just those three. That's so flashy. It's like KD is probably the second best player in the league when healthy. James Harden is top 5, and it's like, so yeah, that's an insane lineup. But then you're giving up your whole entire bench. I know you could probably get players to come play there with you for the low, just because they think you're going to have a chance. And I mean, any one of these guys can get you 40 a night. But if I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm not picking up the phone for less than 6 first-round draft picks. I'm just not doing it. I need 6 picks and 2 solid players to even think about it.
I just think it doesn't really make a sense for both teams. If you put Harden, Kyrie, and KD on the same team, you have 3 players with insanely high usage rates. I just don't see that gelling together whatsoever.
I can't see it. It makes no sense.
And you'd have to give up so much just to go out there and get him. You'd be losing so many quality pieces in that offense. I don't like it for either team.
Yeah. And just to speak on your point there, Twig, we've seen a couple big names go through Houston while Harden has been there. Do you think if Harden chooses to move out and go to another team to try to, squad up with some people and create that super team, do you even think he plays well in it? Exactly what you just said. I mean, the usage, it's like, I don't know.
It's just hard to mix personalities with players like that as well. I think Kyrie and Harden on the same team, their personalities would not mesh whatsoever. It just would create so much locker room drama that I just don't see it working at all. I don't think it really matters where Harden goes. He's going to be the face of that franchise. It's going to end up creating locker room problems. Just with another big player on the squad, it's just not going to work. He's got to be the number one option. With him and Russ out there, they just clash heads so much. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think James Harden has just locked himself, I think, into this box where it's like, if I'm not controlling the ball, the offense just doesn't really work. And you bring in a guy like Russell Westbrook. The Houston offense is literally designed to where James Harden is going to have the ball every single possession. All you need to do is just stand at the 3-point line and hit the fucking shot if he passes it to you. And I mean, Russell Westbrook's never been a good shooter. He's going to eat up half his usage time. So I never saw the point of that trade either. I thought Chris Paul was a better fit than Russell Westbrook, but that didn't really work out either. They had a run, but and what's the common denominator there? We've been talking about James Harden. I think obviously James Harden might be the greatest offensive player ever, just from as far as a walking bucket, Kevin Durant obviously just being efficient. But James Harden just gets points like it's nothing. But that offense has proven year in and year out that it just doesn't work. You can't have a 6'5" dude at center. It's just not going to work. He's obviously going to get numbered. He's been in the MVP conversation for literally the past 4 or 5 years. He obviously has won one. But I think that'd just be a fucking mess of a team. I look at the Brooklyn Nets team right now, and like I said, Kyrie, Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, Kevin Durant. You got Joe Harris in the cut, LeVert. That's a fucking really good basketball team. That if they figure it out, could easily come out of the East. But I don't know, dude. We were talking earlier too. Philly, there's some potential talks with Philly only because they have shit to give up. You could give up Simmons or Embiid. But then I don't know if they have the draft capital. I've also heard too that Doc Rivers wants to just run it back with this team he's got right now, see if he can do anything different, maybe get him over the hump. I think Philadelphia will be better this year with him at the helm, but Western Conference or Finals team, I don't think so. But James Harden, I don't know, because at the end of the day, it could just be a lot of talk, and the Rockets just say, no, we're not going to fucking trade him. So that could be what happens. They could wait till next year. They could wait till the trade deadline. I mean, they got 3 years left to figure it out. He did decline his option, but they got 3 more years of him, so they can do whatever the hell he wants with him. So Russell Westbrook, though, is the other point I want to make. I don't know what he's publicly come out and said that he doesn't want to be there. They got to move off, but I don't know, dude. I don't like his contract. To me, Russell Wilson, my God, bro. I'm saying Drew Bledsoe, Russell Wilson, just fucking it up. But to me, Russell Westbrook is he's a story, dude. You can't tell the story of basketball without talking about Russell Westbrook. Obviously, the shit he did with the triple doubles. Dude's a crazy, he's like the Allen Iverson, our generation. Just a cultural phenomenon. Dude's awesome. His energy, the way he plays, his athletic ability. But he can't shoot the fucking basketball. He's made some threes, but just because you make threes doesn't make you a good shooter. He never has been. We saw what he did when he was at the helm. He obviously had that season, 2016, winning an MVP, going like 3 straight years with a triple-double. But now he's just kind of gotten older, and I don't know. I mean, the athletic ability is going to start to fall off eventually, and the fact that he doesn't really have a shot at this point, I don't see. I mean, he's still going to play at a high level, depending on what you put him on. I've seen talks of him going to the Knicks, where as a fan would be cool to see. But that pretty much just be the Russell Westbrook show. He'd go out there and get his numbers. This team still probably wouldn't be very good. I saw we talked right before we went on live. There was some stuff about Westbrook for a trade with John Wall from the Wizards, which makes no fucking sense to me. Because at this point, dude, John Wall and Russell Westbrook are like the same basketball player. At one point in time, dude, at one point in time, I thought John Wall was a better point guard than Russell Westbrook just because his downhill quickness. I think John Wall is the man, but they're essentially the same guys. They're just 2 dudes that have always just been super athletic, super quick, and have gotten by with that, and have never really been able to shoot, never really taken shots. They've never had to. They've been able to do what they do just from being freak athletes. But I don't know where the fuck Russell Westbrook goes. Like, what do you guys think?
I definitely don't think Harden and Westbrook stay on that team.
That can't work anymore. He's got to go somewhere.
I don't know. A lot is going to unfold tomorrow and in the day of the draft. It's going to be interesting to see. I think there's still so many moving parts that it would be impossible to put him on a spot right now.
I don't know what the fuck you do with him, dude. I don't know what you get back for him, dude. You gave up so much to get him. I don't know. I fuck with Russell Westbrook. Hope they figure it out. I'd love to see that boy get a chip. I'd love to see James Harden get one too, man, because, if he doesn't, he'll probably go down as the greatest player to never win one. Him and Karl Malone, see him in that Charles Barkley bracket and shit. But I just don't think he ever will at this point, unless I don't know, because I don't like the Nets move at all. I don't like that at all, but we'll see what happens. We're going to see some shit pop off tomorrow. One other thing we want to talk about, the last trade we saw that's worthy of talking about before we end things here. Schroeder to the Lakers, another OKC deal, dude. They're just making deals, figuring it out. I think they got the 28th pick this year and Danny Green. There were talks of the Lakers, Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma for DeMar DeRozan, which I like, but I like this trade way more. I like DeMar DeRozan, but I didn't really understand the fit with the Lakers. I like this team way more because Schroeder, one, he is a good defender. 2, I think he's an upgrade over Rondo. 1, because he can shoot. He's not a great shooter, but he's a good enough shooter to where I don't think it shrinks the floor for what the Lakers want to do with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. I wouldn't necessarily call him a pick and pop type player, but he can hit enough shots to where he can keep that spacing. And he's obviously a good playmaker. We saw in Atlanta, and then obviously the things he was able to do last year with OKC, in 6 man of the year type shit. I think he's solid, and he got to sit under Chris Paul for a year, learn some things from him. They went deep into the playoffs. He's got playoff experience. I like this fit for the Lakers. I really like this fit for the Lakers. My only thing now is I think they need one more piece. I've saw some shit about them potentially going out and getting Ibaka, which I think would be a bucket because, yes, that's another guy who is a pretty solid rim defender. He was way better early on in his career, but can kind of shoot that three a little bit. And I mean, how to win basketball games 101, have LeBron James on your team, and then just a bunch of guys that can shoot the ball. I mean, that's just how to win games. And, I think Schroeder and one more piece. I think they need a nice stretch big. Someone better than Morris. I don't know what they do with Dwight or JaVale. I think Rondo's gone. Rondo's going to the Clippers, which actually might be a problem because Rondo was playoff Rondo last during the championship, whatever it is. But I like Schroeder to the Lakers. What do you think?
Do we think Schroeder is Danny Green's immediate replacement? Do you think he gets the start of the two, or is he going to come off the bench again?
I think you're going to see Avery Bradley hold down the point because he opted in. I think you're still going to see Schroeder off the bench because I just think he excels, and I think that was one of the biggest problems we saw throughout the course of the playoffs. And as good as Anthony Davis is, he can't really create shots like that by himself. So, you just, when LeBron's not on the floor, it's a whole different basketball team. So if you could have someone, obviously Schroeder's not LeBron, but for someone to be able to come in and just make plays, and hopefully if he can get you 18 a night consistent, that's fine, because that's been my biggest gripe on Kuzma. Obviously I think they still have Kuzma floating, to which I think if they made another deal, if they had to go get Ibaka, they would have to move him, which I don't mind. I'm not the biggest fan of Kuzma. But yeah, I don't know. I like the fit. I don't know what another move they make. There was some very small rumors a couple of days ago of potentially Derrick Rose going to the Lakers, which I would have loved, dude. Derrick Rose is my favorite fucking basketball player. But yeah, I like that, man. Lakers, I definitely think are going to be on top again this year. We got the Clippers right there. Then we keep talking. We got the draft coming up, dude. Golden State Warriors are right there, dude. I think that's going to be a fucking team, dude. I really do. I don't know. The Suns too are going to be right there. It's going to be my only thing with the NBA schedule coming up. If it's coming up the second, is I don't know if that's going to be fun basketball to watch for a couple weeks, dude. Don't you think those dudes are tired? They didn't really
have to be gassed out.
It's not to be gassed.
Yeah,
I've heard LeBron say some things about. It feels weird to me, dude. You guys just stopped playing a month ago in a super high stressed environment, and now it's going to come out. I mean, is there going to be no fans? They doing the bubble? How are they rolling this out? I don't get it at all.
I don't either. I don't think they go back to the bubble. I think there's going to be too many teams to pull it off again. Mm-hmm. I think you probably get limited fans at the stadium, probably 10 to 15% capacity. It's going to be interesting to see.
Which is hey, yeah, I'll give some NFL and the credit there. They've been able to slowly get those fans, more and more fans back each week. And I don't think we've heard any cases. We've definitely heard cases of players and stuff going through it. But as far as fans and stuff, I don't know if I've heard any statistics or anything about fans. So hopefully that's what the NBA does. Because I trust the NBA. NBA held down the bubble. I think if NBA does anything, it's going to be clean. It's going to be safe. So I'm excited for that, dude. That's a month away. Get some NBA basketball.
They'll play on Christmas. I'm excited for that.
Play on Christmas, dude. Just watch out these next couple of days, dude. There's going to be some trades moving. Shit happen. A lot of rumors. Bradley Beal. A lot of guys here and there. I don't know what happens. I'm super excited.